What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about a budget AR, the Davidson Firearms Journeyman rifle, the DD-15. Not to be confused with Daniel Defense, Davidson Defense actually has some very budget-minded rifles. Now, initially I wasn't as interested in doing this review. They did contact us and they wanted to send me over a rifle for review, and as you know, that does not guarantee a positive review. That being said, lately especially with prices going so high that they're through the roof, Davidson actually offers a lot of good features, at least for the money, so it got me pretty interested. So they asked me which one I wanted and I chose this one, the Journeyman rifle, and we have it kind of sort of kitted out for me. We put the Comp M5 from Aimpoint on there because I'm doing a review on it that's like more expensive than the whole gun, but the rifle itself comes out around $500, and like other companies, Bear Creek Arsenal, Delton, Palmetto State, it kind of competes in that price point where you have a good amount of features for a pretty low entry price. So you have a 16-inch mid-length gas system, which is pretty nice. It looks like you have a solid, like, big, thick government profile barrel on there. We have these flip-up sights that are pretty interesting. They remind me of something like from the 90s or early 2000s or something like that. Standard charging handle there. Mil-spec bolt carrier group, 6061 T6 aircraft grade aluminum on the receiver, which is good. The receiver actually does look kind of interesting. It has some interesting cuts to it. However, the anodizing is a little bit rough, I have to say, but that's something that you're gonna have to get used to when you get in the budget-minded ARs, the Anderson quality ARs, which this one at least appears to be decent. It's got a decent lockup on the M-lock rail, good M-lock rail, a little bit of a cheese grater on the top here, but not too bad at all. I don't really dig the holes in the middle of the rail personally. I'd prefer those also be M-lock slots, but hey, nothing can be perfect, right? The magwell looks pretty decent. Trigger guard assembly looks pretty smooth. It's got this weird Hogish style grip here with looks like a Robinson armament or something like that. Stock in the back with a pretty thick recoil pad actually, considering it's a 5.56, although this company does make, I'm sure, other calibers, including .308, so maybe they just standardize on one stock. And it's not too bad, honestly. There's a lot of tooling marks and stuff like that, and you can tell it's a little bit rougher of a gun than maybe something like the IWI, which we just recently filmed for around $700, but it still appears to have all the same features. Now, one of the things that I'm always careful of up front when it comes to budget guns is what do you sacrifice? Because you're always sacrificing something when it comes to either parts manufacturing, features, the quality of tooling, the quality of coating that you get, the accuracy of your barrel, the fitment of the parts, all that stuff comes into play. And those things, those stacking issues come into play with a cheaper gun, can cause issues. Now, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. What I like to say with budget rifles is generally it's a little bit more of a crapshoot. Most of the time you get a good one, sometimes you don't. So we'll have to go out and see what Davidson Defense is able to give you for $500, because I have had really good $500 to $700 tier rifles in the past, but I've also had a couple of bad ones. So I'm interested to see how this does. I like when companies come in with features like an M-lock rail, a decent trigger, a not A1 or A2 style furniture set. It's nice that they came with their own furniture set because the stock actually is pretty comfortable, and even though there is a bit of an angle on the pistol grip, it does feel really good. It feels like a Hogue rubber grip. So I like that you get some of the features that you would get on a high quality rifle for pretty cheap. That being said, before we go shoot it, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you that we have guns and ammo on the channel. I really appreciate it. If you like the unbiased content, just please go down to the link and start supporting us on Patreon. Also, there's a link for a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. It could really use your help, so please go down and donate to those kids. Finally, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, the Sonoran Desert Institute. Easily one of my favorite companies to get a sponsorship from, simply because there's a lot of applications that you can actually use from a degree from the Sonoran Desert Institute. You can become a gunsmith, which is probably the main one, right? Gunsmiths that I know are few and far between. Great gunsmiths are almost unknown. All of them are completely backed up with work all the time, and I would really appreciate it if some of you guys from Iowa actually became gunsmiths, so I had a competent gunsmith to go to. If you want to do that, just go to the Sonoran Desert Institute. They're one of the best, if not the best, online education institutes for that particular service, so please go down there, click that link. Oh, we are on. I love QD systems on red dots for ARs, because one of the reasons why I chose the Comp M5 is it was just on my BCM, and we're at 75 yards right here, and coincidentally it's pretty close to being sighted in right away. As you can see,
The blast on that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got the Gamma VG6 on it because I've been testing that as well. So a lot of these parts go from AR to AR, you know, so they can get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 round reviews in the middle of reviewing the rifle as well. Shoots really good. I'm really happy with it so far.
The ejection is following me wherever I go.
So I didn't mention the weight, but as configured, it's 7.8 pounds. We weighed it inside there, and that's with the optic. So it's around 7 pounds without the optic, which is a little heavy for an AR just because of the heavy profile barrel. But that'll help with heating and cooling issues as well, I'm sure. So far so good. I like it. Hit. Hit. Continuing to hit. Are you out?
Okay.
Now she's aiming at that big one on the left.
You know me, I love a good AR.
So what did you think? Did you notice any, I mean, I know you wouldn't, but did you notice anything different between that and like a BCM or the IWI or any of the higher end guns?
No, honestly, no. Well, no.
You're running a high quality optic, which helps.
Yep, definitely helped. It is a little heavy, but I'm just not used to carrying around big rifles all the time. I really actually like this grip, even though the little thing
yeah, that fell out.
dangling.
That's one of the things we're going to talk. Show them that. That appears to be some sort of accessory case or something like that, or maybe something you put in oiler.
Out, but other than that, I really like this grip.
Yeah, you like the rubber stuff.
It feels good. It feels really good to me. I feel like I did pretty well too.
Yeah, you did. All right, so far I like the gun a lot. The controls work well. It's a standard mil spec receiver wood, right? The trigger's actually pretty good, like 4.5, 5 pound mil spec trigger. I like that a lot. The stock is super comfortable. It's not rattly. Just adjusts just like a normal stock would. I mean, it's a little rattly, but not any more than any other. This thing's pissing me off though. This thing keeps falling out. I don't know what's going on with that.
Duct tape it.
Yeah, I'd have to, right? Well, you probably just, glue it or something.
Glue it.
Or get a new grip. The sights are hot garbage. I don't like those. I don't like that they put this giant rear sight in the way of the charging handle. That kind of sucks. But if you did buy a $500 rifle, it is nice that it comes with sights, right? That is kind of a big fan. We got one mag left, and it's actually frangible ammunition, which I wasn't aware of. We were shooting PMC 55 grain, and it worked really, really well so far. I'm a little concerned about the frangible. Frangible, it's 40 grain, and it tends to be a little bit lighter. So sometimes guns without adjustable gas blocks won't run them, or lighten carriers. The reason why we're running frangible is because you get to shoot steel up close, and it's a lot of fun. You can't do that with 5.56. Because it's not very fun to do that. You ruin your targets and you get a lot of splatter. We're gonna do a little CQB with it. Hopefully it runs. If not, I'm not gonna hold it against it. Ready? Pretty good, yeah?
Yep.
Spin handles well. Say when. I mean, that'd work.
Yeah. That'd take her down.
Yeah. Hip shoots.
Okay.
Well, there we go. 100 rounds. Pretty easy. Well, no malfunctions whatsoever, even with the frangible. That's pretty fucking impressive. Accurate, low recoil. The only complaint I have is this. this thing right here, which... All right, so after the first 100 rounds, I'm pretty impressed, I'd have to say. We didn't do a lot of shooting today just because my shoulder's a little iffy, so I had the wife shoot a little bit. And what do you think first?
I really like, first of all, I really like the adjustable stock, which I mean, I know isn't revolutionary, but it is a really nice stock. I feel like the butt pad definitely helped my shoulder. I really like that, and obviously you and I are two different sized people, so that's helpful. I really do like that grip. I don't think I've ever felt a grip quite like that, and that was really nice. I don't know if it helped my performance at all, but I enjoyed it. The handguard didn't get hot while we were shooting, so that was nice.
Yeah, it didn't. I noticed compared to the IWI, really right, worried. Which got really hot.
It did actually, yeah. So I appreciated that.
Look at how much oil I put on it. You see fucking oils everywhere.
That's hilarious. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed my experience with it. I'm not as detailed of a reviewer as you are, but I certainly enjoyed my experience, and the fact that there was no malfunctions was certainly a plus.
Yeah. I liked how soft it shot. I mean, part of that's the brake, but most of it's just the rifle, the mid-length gas system. That felt really good. The M-LOK rail worked. It's not overly heavy. It's not overly light. The weight actually does help with the recoil as well, which is really nice. I'm a big guy, so a 7-pound rifle is not a huge thing for me. Like she said, I like the stock so much more than I initially thought. I've never ran this stock before. I thought it was kind of gimmicky, but it does feel really good. And I got to say, it's in my top 5 like favorite new stock so far. The grip I did not like, but however, I was impressed with the quality of the controls and like the smoothness of the internals of the gun by comparison to some of the other, especially like super cheap, you know, ARs that you can get, like I forget, the ATI AR comes to mind. It just feels like, you know, sand and glue when you pull it back, whereas this feels like a normal AR, like an IWI or maybe a Colt or a SIG or something like that, which is actually pretty impressive at the price point. I feel like the machining and the quality of the receiver and the way it looks actually looks a little bit higher quality. If you were to see this on a rack, it looks interesting and it looks kind of weird, but it doesn't look like subpar quality, which is nice. If it were me and I was building this gun, I'd ditch these freaking iron sights because they look like trash, and I would probably get an M-LOK rail that doesn't have these holes in it, because that doesn't look the best either. But other than that, I have literally no complaints about this at all, and I'm kind of surprised about that because I went on this very apprehensive. Like lately we've been burned by a lot of cheap guns, and it's kind of nice to have a $500 gun that at least for now, first 100 rounds works really well. And generally if a gun fails, it has a tendency to show that in the first 100 rounds. We're gonna maybe do a full review of this. It kind of depends on how much you guys want. 5.56 is very expensive right now. But yeah, hopeful so far. I'm definitely gonna have to shoot this again at least and see if it holds up. But so far, so good. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. And if anybody has a Comp M5 cap they want to send me in the mail, let me know.